Now let's take a look at the traditional tracking that we have inside of After Effects. It works a lot differently than the 3D tracking camera does. So before we actually track some footage, I want you guys to follow along. Open up the 8-ball motion movie that you'll find in a folder called Motion Tracking, which of course is inside the Workfiles folder. This is some footage I shot, and it just has an 8-ball here rolling along a pool table. So what we're going to talk about first of all is how to determine what parts of the footage are suitable for tracking. Now, what you want to do is focus on areas that have high contrast. So this area here is a good candidate for motion tracking, as well as this, but the pool table itself is not moving. So this would be good for a stabilization, which we'll talk about elsewhere in this section. So I have my footage selected. I'm going to go to the motion tracking workspace so we can focus on these tools here. Now, as you see, we have the ability to track a camera, to do a warp stabilizer, track motion, and stabilize motion. So what I want to do is I want to be able to put a piece of artwork, perhaps that rhino, so that it focuses and follows this ball as it moves across the composition window. So we're going to choose track motion. Now for this part, I just want to focus on the track points. So I'm going to maximize this frame so we can talk about this box. Then we'll actually put it to use in the following lesson. So what do we have here? We have an exterior box. This is our search region. We have an interior box called the feature region. And we have this guy called the attach point. So I'm going to just grab this whole box and click on it and move it. And you can see we can move just the track region itself, or we can click on the interior box and move the whole thing. And when we move it across our footage, it magnifies whatever the attach point is over. So I'm going to put it right about, let's say, right there. We have a little bit of contrast. We have some white here and this little dot. The search region keeps its eye on the feature region. And the feature region is going to try to lock on to the attach point. So when we analyze this footage, which we'll talk about in a little while, the goal, of course, is for, as the ball moves across, this guy here to stay where he is. That's why a point of interest that has good contrast is so important. Now, just hypothetically, let's just say that we had a green object that was moving across a green table. The tracker might have a lot of difficulty because it can't find a good lock-on point, as you see here. So as I move this, I don't really have a good region except for this little dot right there. So contrast, very, very important. So now that we discussed what this does, let's go ahead and apply it in the next lesson and actually track the rhino so that it follows this 8-ball as it moves across our comp.